Yeah, nah, honestly, that's crazy at this point. Every streamer is straight up exposing Call of Duty.
Call of Duty is using AI art now. That's how far things have gone. Not just art. Yeah, I mean, no. If the whole game was AI, it would probably be better. So it's probably not AI.
Okay, everyone, today's story is actually
crazy.
pretty damn big. So here's what's going on, right? Players are getting refunds for Call of Duty this year. And it's not because of the absurd campaign or some sort of matchmaking disaster. No, they are demanding their money back because they're finding the game is filled with AI-generated art that was never mentioned in the marketing. And well,
Never mentioned, so they just basically tried to hide the fact that they used AI. And I like how he slid past the SBMM problems and all that too so quick.
but it's not just Call of Duty, because Ubisoft is also under fire. And that's because
what a surprise.
While we're talking about AI slop, right?
So we've got Activision and Ubisoft. Two of the you talk about gold standards of gaming. Well, these are the brown standards of gaming.
Right? The real problem isn't necessarily the output. It isn't necessarily the intents that people say. Really, we should start looking at what people actually do, and we should look at the process, because in reality, it's the management of these companies that are getting just as sloppy as the games. Alright, so this year's Call of Duty is once again full of generative AI slop, because whenever I think Call of Duty, I think of piss, filter, poisoned, Ghibli-adjacent fantasy art of some peasants impressed.
Whoa, look at that. You see that? Bro, that just looks like the most basic AI art, bro. I mean, come on. I mean, really though, all the Call of Duty calling cards before AI was even a thing, they were so much better anyway.
It's so obvious that it's AI generated too.
Yeah.
They do not give a fuck. They totally phoned this in. They ran out of time making the art for it, and they just straight up AI generated the frames for the achievement things. Yeah, it's not even good AI art. Yeah, you can make good AI art.
Right.
But this isn't even it. Like you did, a 5-year-old could have done this.
Guard by catching a catfish. Yeah, that's Call of Duty, all right.
Oh yeah.
And the images you're seeing right now are basically those of calling.
And also, why is it that they're in like a fantasy universe?
I know.
Like these are like peasants in like a medieval era. With a knight's helmet.
Doesn't even match.
Why is this in Call of Duty if it's in a future with machine guns?
Right?
Cards. They're floating around social media.
What is this?
Black Ops 7 launch. Because people have looked at them and thought, oh my god, what the hell is this?
Unbelievably lazy,
weird,
yes.
Totally mismatched stuff that bears all the hallmarks of cheaply produced and barely reviewed generated art. And look, this isn't some blind...
Oh, nah, what is that? The top left one looks like a fake Battlefield one, bro. Some wannabe... Oh, nah, this just looks all bad.
The AI get really angry thing. No, sure, there's people who could probably do this stuff tastefully.
Yeah.
What actually matters is this is a huge set of games where it's not being done tastefully, and that's actually happening at scale. Now, the funny thing about this with Call of Duty is that after the mess of Black Ops 6, audiences kind of expected this stuff, right? We all expected
Wow, look at that, guys.
That's bad,
the generic Steam AI disclosure thing. We all expected Activision responding to the news outlets, confirming something that they didn't do anything wrong and denying anything that they could have done wrong. And the reason why is actually because we've already had all of this happen this very year.
Yeah, with the AI generated stuff, right?
Where Associate Creative Director Miles Leslie told IGN that everything Gen AI that people saw in Black Ops 6 was there, quote, by accident, and that was never the intention. And the claim that he makes is that these are basically just tools to help artists, but that the outputs are never to make it in-game. So
they're not to replace, but they do not replace any fantastic team members. How long are they going to pussyfoot? This is the reason why China and these other countries are beating American companies, because in America they're too worried about being too efficient. They're worried, oh my god, wait, we can't use AI. People on Twitter don't agree with AI. So instead of actually trying to make the game good, instead of trying to make a good product, instead of that, they're going around and getting upset and apologizing for it. Jesus, this is embarrassing.
That would mean that, say, our many-fingered zombie Santa friend was only...
Oh, yeah, I remember that one, bro. Oh, my God. That was the most obvious thing. How did they let that slide by?
meant to be a placeholder. Never should have shipped. You know, just a placeholder asset meant to sit there and reflect the vibe that the artists wanted until eventually a human could come in and replace it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Now, look, I'm happy enough to steelman this guy's position, and I'm all for artists having better tools and less drudgery in their job. But this keeps on happening, and I think that means we should be quite a bit more suspicious. So when
I bet that AI generation for video games is probably a lot farther along than you would imagine. And I bet with many of these AAA games, there is more things that are generated with AI than you see. And I think that here's a good way to look at it, right? Do you really think that in a game where they've blatantly used AI and multiple other things, do you really think that the only times that they've used it, you can see it? There's no way you could logically come to that conclusion, right? You would assume, obviously, some of the AI is good enough to where it blends in. So you're only seeing the worst offenders because good AI is invisible.
Said it keeps happening. Obviously, that's right for Call of Duty, but
it makes sense. But like, bro, I just wish there was no AI at all in these games.
it's also an industry-wide thing. First, there's a game that I should love, and that's Anno 1117 Pax Romana. It should be a bright spot in Ubisoft's
People
calendar,
like this game,
but
yeah.
there are problems with the game, sadly. There's an unfinished campaign, some odd art decisions, and for today's purposes, an AI art problem. You see, Anno's art tends to be gorgeous, right? And that's why seeing it replaced with a thoughtless imitation with no experiential humanity behind it is a big nope for me. That's the type of art where, even if it was to look pretty...
Well, they didn't even go through it. Like, what's embarrassing is that you could have used AI to generate the image and then go through and edit it to make sure that there aren't any inconsistencies. But they didn't even do that. And I think that's really what the main story of this is. It's not even the fact that they used AI. It's the fact that they used AI and they didn't even try to edit it. They didn't try to improve it. They didn't try to do anything.
Yeah, it's like lazy slop work. I guess I get that, but still, even using AI at all, they shouldn't have to.
This building's made me think of ball pit. Yeah, really. And there's also developers that use AI without telling the company. Yeah, no doubt. But what I'm saying is that a lot of these companies, they're phoning it in on like a massive level. Like there's people there's random gimmick accounts on Twitter that put more effort into it than a AAA games company.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
A feeling in me. So here's actually what went down with this. Something in these loading screens caught people's eye.
Yeah.
Basically, something was up. They were off-putting. We saw these renderings of somewhat human-shaped shadow figures. And
What's his arm doing?
Ghost Adventures episode. Just random-ass shadow figures.
Yeah.
Now that led to people then checking for the Steam AI disclosure. The disclosure was there, and of course it's a first for the Anno series.
Yep, there you go.
Now, I want you to remember that this is all happening at the same time.
Yeah, and I think that's no problem. And also, like, here's the truth. Players very clearly do not care about this. That's why the game was rated 94. So the entire, upset, oh my God, it's AI, this is completely created by media. And it's created by media because they're operating in their own best interest. They don't want to get replaced by AI. And so they're trying to create an ecosystem where companies are afraid to use AI. But the truth is that the AI complainers are a vast vocal minority. Solid take. Yeah, that's just it. 94% by who? By the actual players, people that played the game.
Ubisoft are catching some flack for allegedly machine translating the German language options for the game. So, yeah, the Germans aren't pleased, and I suspect that also extends to the official German.
I don't even care about this, if you want me to be honest, because, there are other games. Video games have always had bad translations. All Your Base Are Belong to Us was a bad translation, for example. So, this isn't even really an AI problem. This is what this really shows is it is shoddy development that they just don't care about.
Yeah.
That's the thing,
true.
is they never even went back and looked through this to make sure that it was good.
Yeah.
That's, I think, the big story, not even the AI.
By which I mean the government. I say that because the German government awarded Ubisoft a 5.7 million euro cultural development grant in 2023. So,
I mean, yeah, it's crazy. I feel like people are thinking that it's lazy to just use AI, and then these game companies are trying to use AI in a sloppy and lazy way. How do you use AI in a lazy way. It's already lazy to use it.
They probably won't like the look of this weird slop job with the damn German translation. Now, admittedly, that grant's likely because the game's development team is a large German employer, and that would mean that the government would want to back them. But hey, if you're a French publisher making a historical strategy game, do I really have to say it? Don't piss off the Germans. Come on, it keeps on going badly when we do that. Jokes aside.
Yeah, because like that one time, and the time before that, yeah.
It is a bad look on both counts. And that is why Ubisoft did actually respond to things. So according to them, the offending scenes were just generative AI placeholders that slipped through review. Now, they just slipped in, but thankfully that now they are being fixed. But when you actually look at the fixes, you see they're not done in a way that would inspire hope, because they're just touching up the offending mistakes with what's there, rather than replacing it fully, which...
Exactly. That's what they should have done. And this is the future. Like, you're not going to convince a company to hire a bunch of artists to draw something that they can generate in 3 seconds. It's just not going to happen. Like, why would somebody do something in 10 hours that would take normally 10 seconds? I mean, you've got to be retarded, right? Of course that's not what's going to happen. AI will not replace people. People will learn how to use AI that will replace people. Well, AI, like, this is what AI will do. AI will give one person the ability to do 5 people's jobs.
Yeah, and it's just so annoying that AI is really replacing jobs and stuff like that. And that's what they're doing with it, is making some slop art for games, bro. Come on.
So it's not, it will replace people, but it won't be a 100% replacement rate. It will be like an 80 to 90% replacement rate at high levels of efficiency. That's what's happening.
I think suggests that whenever push comes to shove, yeah, they actually are happy to just do the quick, dirty thing and cut some corners. Can't imagine any of us find that particularly surprising. But what's maybe more surprising is just how sloppy they're getting, how far the standards are falling. So look, it's not necessarily the technology itself that is turning people's stomachs. It can also be the quality use of that technology, and in this case, the sheer sloppiness, the lack of care. Now, we've heard the placeholder excuse multiple times this year. Hell, even Expedition 33. Yes, that game, even it fell foul of it. Basically, there's... I was
going to say Expedition 33 used generative AI for these textures. Why would... I don't know. It doesn't look like it's generative AI to me. I mean, I don't know how you can tell that.
In-game poster that was found turned out to be a placeholder, and it was replaced a week after launch. I suppose it's the more innocuous of today's 3 main examples.
Excellent. It was indeed placeholders were replaced with custom assets. The other AI-generated poster was present. I think that in a lot of these cases, they're not actually placeholders. They're just there in case people find them, and then they'll replace them. Who cares? I don't think anybody cares. That's the thing, is that people don't care about AI. They care about bad AI.
That's basically what happens. Devs,
bro, I don't know. Because, like, yeah, the bad AI, the lazy use of it is annoying, but just the use of it in general is annoying too, in my opinion. Like, just using it in general, bro. Because it just, like, it... I mean, but they're going to, right? Because, yeah, it's just too simple. Like, they're just thinking so business-minded, there's no way they want real artists anymore. It's crazy.
Use generative AI tools to create a almost production-ready asset. Yeah. They then populate the game. They put those assets in. They trace it or something like that, You know what? Because they've used the quickly made AI placeholder thing, actually, when the placeholders are in, they probably do get a bunch of the vibe that they're looking for.
Yeah, sure.
But then what happens is, there's a release date for the game. There is a rush to ship. And that can mean that those assets may never get replaced. So you can see why they do it. You can even see some benefits over the traditional style placeholder, which was meant to be so egregious and obvious that you really just couldn't ship them. You know, just a blank texture saying delete me or something. That would mean that people would notice the placeholder is there and it wouldn't get shipped. And sometimes...
yeah, another good example is where wins meet. Somebody brought this up, is that they have like AI chatbots in the game. And like some other things with the game are AI as well. Like, for example, like the riddles that they do. And I think nobody really complains about that. Nobody cares because it's done in a way that isn't really negative for the game. So I love chatting with them. Yeah, I've never even done it before. I've just heard about it and like people have told me about it. So the real future is good AI. The future is not having individual artists do things themselves. That's going away whether you like it or not. Now, you'll always have games that have that, but I think in a lot of cases that will not be that will not be the norm.
Yeah, it probably won't be the norm. It will be the norm to just use the AI more probably. But those games that do use like the actual real artists, those should probably stand out more. So that might be a good thing for them.
Sometimes, yeah, a mistake would happen. Something would slip in. Maybe a wrong build is uploaded or human error happens. Now that happens even without Gen AI built placeholders. But when the placeholders, if you were to sort of squint your eye and look at them, almost look like the finished product.
Yeah, if you're not paying
a lot harder.
Yeah, if you don't pay attention and you're not really looking at it, you will think that it looks fine.
Get that part of the process right. And look, not everyone hates Gen AI on principle. That's a totally fine thing to think, by the way.
Yeah.
I mean, if people broadly did, we wouldn't be praising Game of the Year nominee Expedition 33.
Bro, the one thing that's annoying about that too is like it looks fine just looking at it, but then when you really look at detail, then it looks all bad. Bro, that's the whole point. Like, games are supposed to look all good now because like you're supposed to be able to have it all high detailed and with the graphics and everything, so the details matter, bro. Yeah, that's bro, nah, this AI shit is crazy.
Which did decide to use that stuff as a part of its pipeline.
It's not relevant.
Not intended to be final results, but as a part of its pipeline. So here's the thing, right? Plenty of people will tell you that if you hate
the truth is that like having something as part of your pipeline means that that thing is probably is removing a person's job. This is what I think a lot of people don't understand, is that even if the final product isn't AI, if you're using AI in your development process, you're doing so in order to circumvent or to basically streamline some human behavior. And that's generally what happens. Arc Raiders is another good example too. A game is good, so the majority don't really care that much. Yeah, exactly. And that's it. I mean, it doesn't matter. Like, just because it's not the final product doesn't mean that it's not removing somebody's job.
AI, that's okay. Just don't buy those games. Right,
yeah.
Easy enough. There's tons of options out there.
I hate these fucking mobs.
And sure, audiences do have different standards. We actually saw that recently with Arc Raiders, where some people drew their personal line there, others didn't. And
no people drew a personal line with Arc Raiders. It's not true. It's not real. There was just like 10 people on Twitter talking about it.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Arc Raiders is such a good game, though. But they're not even talking about Black Ops 7 no more. But either way, I just feel like the AI has just gotten so bad, bro. Alright, so that's gonna be the end of the video right here. Thank y'all for watching the video. I really do appreciate it. Leave a comment down below of your thoughts if you feel like it. Now, obviously, there's another video on screen right now if you guys want to watch another video. Subscribe for more, and I'll see you on the next one.